This poem was called We the People of Australia. We the people of this nation make a solemn declaration to uphold the human rights of all people. For all people are this nation and have the right to be human, as there are no refugees, only those seeking refuge. There are no enemies, only those who we do not know as friends. For terrorism is the art of terror, and the people can see the industry of terror. For the military is complex, marketed as defence. But how can we defend the indefensible? We the people uphold universal values, for we value all human and ecological life. We the people value principled action, for we value the nation, not nationalism. We value friendship, not false mateship. We value working together as a team, not in servitude. We value fairness, equity, and a safety net, for the safety net is not a mutual obligation. It is a mutual understanding that full employment is not achievable, that demand and supply vary, the playing field is not equal, and industrial structures and philosophies change, for the sign of a true civilization is embedded in the treatment of the vulnerable, and the fabric of society requires that all members are treated equally, that the separation of powers is not just a doctrine. The judiciary must be independent and fair. The executive must be accountable and lead. And the parliament must speak as sovereign representatives with substance in question time. We the people are monitoring our government with open eyes. We the people demand democracy as a birthright, for we have the freedom to speak, for we have the freedom to participate, for we have the freedom to challenge the government if we disagree. For it is not the right of government to dismantle basic inalienable freedoms that we fought for in pursuit of the short-sighted profits for the few. We the people only give our consent to be governed if the following contractual relationship is honoured. Only when the Australian Constitution is observed to the letter of the law. Only when the government improves the living conditions for all of the people. Only when the government serves the real interests of the majority of people. Only when the government speaks to the people as equals and in truth. Only when the government works in the interests of all the people, without masking the vested interests of a powerful and foreign minority. We the people expect that justice must be done and be seen to be done, that legislation not be used to reduce the power of the people, and to respect the rule of law, adhering to international law, as we expect our government to honour its international commitments and treaties. For we are members in one human family, a collective of nation states with a shared fate. We the people demand to have clean air, water, and soil. We the people expect our elected representatives to protect the next generation, to ensure that the generation of energy is not at the expense of the environment, that foods are healthy, that life is balanced, that technology is clean, safe, and private, that we live within natural limits. Therefore, through our actions, we value responsibility and accountability and demand sustainability for all life. We the people recognise in the current climate that we may be jailed for speaking truth to power. We the people recognise in the current climate that media suppression is distracting our focus. We the people recognise in the current climate that inhumanities are conducted in our name. We the people recognise in the current climate that human rights are being silently dismantled. We, the people, recognise that the climate has changed, and we must be the change we wish to see. For the growing democratic movement is the new world reordered. For the Titanic must be turned around before the ice melts. As government and the people are poles apart, we must bridge the divide. We must unite the polarities. We must live the democracy we prize, for which each of us is responsible. So let's advance Australia Fair together as a renewable national anthem. For we are young and free, as GDP becomes G&H for the many, where gold is soil and shared wealth is plenty, sustaining our land, abounding in nature's gifts. For national security is national sovereignty, renewing our national priority, as the truth sets us free to be truly happy. So with courage, let us all combine to advance Australia fair. I have a YouTube channel which is Worldpeacefull Empowerment, which you're welcome to have a look at some of my YouTubes. Typically, I work in a way that's intuitive as I learn my own freedom of speech. I am a great believer in freedom of speech for everyone because I'm interested in what people have to say. I personally have not been a person who wants to control other people. I've always wanted people to be self-determining and make up their own minds because I want people to be happy. And you can only be truly happy when you are self-determining, when you have empowerment. This is why I created Worldpeacefull. This is why I've created Happiness Australia. I've had my own setbacks, which have come through the experience of powerlessness and disempowerment. I've not seen democracy live out or project in the workplace. And what I see with that is this huge potential that's sitting dormant within every human. One of the things I've always known since I was a child is that we have really amazing potential, all of us, but we get so caught up in the negative narratives that we shut down each other. We don't know how to communicate properly with each other. We tend to become adversarial rather than seeing a problem as something to solve and not taking it personally. There's a lot of suppression and anger in the community because people are not happy. And so we end up playing out these conflicts that have been going on for hundreds, if not thousands of years between those who are in the position of power and those who are subject to it. What I personally would like to see is a renewable respect arise, where we stop looking at people as marginalised or unimportant or failures. We stop projecting all this negative narrative onto other people and actually get to know them. And those people who have come to you, who you may perceive as critics or dissenters or somehow an enemy of the state, they're not. We are in a world of great diversity, whether you agree with it or not. You may have certain ideologies that you think the world needs. You need to check in with the world whether they want it. Because if they don't want it, it won't happen. It's not about pretending cooperation or inducing it or manipulating it so that you get what you want. It's about developing that maturity to look at others as equal to yourself and doing the harder work of actually representing the people. And I do believe that when you do that, you will feel much happier yourself, because none of us really want to work against the interests of the people. It doesn't really feel good. When you actually serve people, like we see that when people save, like remember what was it, Indonesia, in the mine? Remember the boys that got caught? And some, I think, Australian soldiers came and helped. And I think British, I think there was a few. I can't quite remember it now, but other Australians would know it better than me because I don't watch TV. But I remember there being a sense of pride in, those soldiers actually saving people. And the same applies with war. All the stories that come out of that are usually about saving someone. It is our nature to save each other. It's not our nature to hurt each other. And we're only doing that because we're not dealing with our own pain. And as a peacemaker, I can see that. And then we build up all these ideologies. We write all these white papers. We form groups. We concoct plans without really understanding ourselves. And that's why I often say, know thyself. Start from there. Then you'll start to see the other is yourself. As I said in my other video, it's just another way of seeing, and it changes everything for us. I want to see our world continue. I want to see our environment balanced. I don't want to see us losing species that will never return. I don't want to see depopulation happening because of someone in some office somewhere believing that is the only way. It's not. There are other ways. We can utilise technology in ways that helps us to truly live sustainably, not just using it as a marketing statement in order to disrupt for the profit of the few. Why not utilise it in a way that helps us to balance between the technology and living in a way that's not wasting a lot of resources, where we're not hanging our identity on things. We're not assessed by as successful because we have all these things, and that's power and ownership. Let's look at it differently. From my point of view, having got nothing, so to speak, in a homeless capacity, I feel I have everything that I need. I don't feel wanting because I'm engaging in my purpose, which was always about world peace. Well, let's just say from 1998 it was. That's when I dreamed I was teaching world peace. But let's just say that my career up until that point was probably preparing me for this dream that I had, which changed my life. And this is over 20 years ago now. And I'm still focused on peace. There's a deep fulfillment in that. Living your dream, living the truth of who you are, is incredibly fulfilling. It's enriching. I talk about the fool's gold. If you get my book, A Fool for Peace, I talk about the fool's gold, which is the virtues of humanity. When you truly live them, it frees you. It frees you from guilt. It frees you from jealousy. It frees you from hatred. There's a great freedom in dropping all those negative feelings. The fool's gold is in compassion and love. These are not airy statements. When you truly feel these things, when you feel empathy, that's the big one. You can stand in the shoes of a person who's poor, or you can stand in the shoes of someone who's a senator. You can stand in the shoes of an intelligence operative. You can stand in the shoes of a person starving in Africa. Imagine what it's like to be them. This is how we move to the middle. They could be me. If you take it from a very big spiritual perspective, they are me. So I just want to leave you with that as another perspective to consider as we advance Australia Fair together. Thanks. Bye.